So what is happening for Aries actually? Venus and Saturn are on your ninth house. Not only that this will be supporting your relationship with the Venus entering Sagittarius, and especially until the 30th before Saturn rises, but this will be very interesting in terms of your spirituality, desire to study, desires to share knowledge. So this is a very interesting period. Also at that particular time, Mars will be on his own place on your ascendant, which can be a bit challenging, but can also, the trine with Mars and Venus can be positive for your relationship, and the influence of Saturn can be very productive and very constructive in terms of your everyday activities and life. Now let's continue and say really brief 2-3 things about Ascendant Taurus. Venus will be entering your 8th house, and since this is the ruler of your ascendant, this may not be the most productive, the most positive period for you. It will be positive, quite positive in terms of spirituality, seeking of esoteric, secret knowledges. Could be that this will bring some interests related to finances that you expect from insurances, for example, or also because Jupiter is on your 7th house, or finances that you've been waiting for, some that are unexpected, money from the others, inheritances. So could be that this is could be a positive development. In terms of energy, it may be that you'll be lacking some energy of the body because this is of the placement of the ascendant ruler. So work on a spiritual level on this, and it will be helpful. What is happening with Gemini? Well, the Saturn influences from your descendant are quite limiting and maybe difficult also for your private life, for your contracts, for your relationships. Venus will soften this a bit, but on the 13th, when Saturn becomes visible, you may experience some difficulty again in relationship to your private life, contracts, people that you know. So be a bit careful. Be also responsible for your health. Cancer. For Cancer ascendant, this particular placement of Venus is happening in the place of work. This will be supporting for your subordinates, work, health. Again, on the 13th, you may experience some lessons with your subordinates at work, and be also careful with your health, which means responsible to have healthy lifestyle. This will help, and be very spiritual, of course, because Cancer is a rising sign associated with this and with powerful intuition, which you most probably have. Leo. For Leo rising sign, this placement is happening in the 5th house, which will be supportive for your creative studies, for your creative pleasure and work, for your love life. So this will be supportive. In any case, can give you new impetus for studying, for obtaining new creative knowledge. Could be good for your finances, but again, watch for this particular period, which will be approximately around the 13th, which could for everyone, this particular day could result in event, because the heliacal rise of Saturn is not like the planetary rises of the other planets. Saturn is a heavy planet, and always his heliacal rise can create events for all of us. Then we have Virgo, and this placement is in your 4th house for your home. Can impact your work, of course, and can have positive impact on your work. It will be blissful, of course, for your relationships, because Venus will be aspecting both your ascendant and your descendant. And again, watch for this particular period after the 13th of February. Because then, Saturn is becoming visible. But in any case, your home will be blessed. At work, the period which Saturn gave you, some hardships, could be a bit softened. again, we need to be careful. It's not a proxy, for no one is good for investment, because Venus with Saturn will, we need to be cautious. This will create limitations in relation to money and markets. And then let's look at Libra. Now Venus is ruling Libra, and Venus is coming on your third house. So supportive for your esoteric spirit life, for your communication, which must have been quite suppressed by Saturn and Pluto by now. So you will have a sort of relief until Venus is there. And yes, you are most probably going through a very spiritual period when you would say, oh, I'm experiencing new level of my spirituality, I'm learning new lessons. You may desire to travel. So this will be quite fine. This will be softening also your private life, because now Venus is trining your natal, your Mars, not natal, transiting Mars, who is over your 7th house. So this will be a kind of relief from possible conflicts, let's say, or hardships related to partnerships in any sense. But again, no good moment for investment for no one. And then we are having Scorpio rising. For Scorpio, this is happening on the 2nd house, quite blissful for the finances moment, for the way you make money. This will be supporting. And while until now you experienced most probably the hardship of Saturn on your 2nd house and the need to do extra efforts when making money, now Venus will give you temporary relief. But remember, Saturn will be on your 2nd house for quite some time, until January 2020. On the other hand, if your natal Saturn is well placed, this Saturn on your 2nd house could be also very positive. Of course, depends from horoscope to horoscope. What I am saying now is very, very basic. It is just to give you an indication, because this particular transit of Venus is not very ordinary, as Venus is meeting Saturn, and Saturn is having a heliacal rise. Sagittarius, we say a lot now about Sagittarius having Saturn, then having Pluto there. Well, this will be a period of, let's say, relief from the hard limiting aspect of Saturn on your ascendant. So Venus will give relief on also in your private life. You will be really relieved. You may have better thoughts, better emotions, you will feel happier. This is for certain. And especially because at that time, on the 15th of February, on your 3rd house, you will be having Mercury in a heliacal rise. He becomes visible. So it is very nice. You may have the impetus to do art, to create, to study additional beautiful spiritual knowledge, to do some trade, to do some communication. All this may happen. So it will be good for Sagittarius rising sign. And then we're having Capricorn. For Capricorn, Venus is on the 12th house, which is with Saturn, with Pluto. What is happening now with Capricorn in general is very interesting, because the ascendant ruler, your ascendant ruler, is on your 12th house. This is robbing you a little bit from energy, can create some limitations and disharmonies for your health. But Venus will help now a lot. And Venus there can enhance your intuition, can support you, can be a winning factor when you have to overwin something with enemies, for example, when you're having a fight with enemies. So Venus will be very supporting, while in your 12th house can be also supporting for your health. You are going through a very spiritual period, because the 12th house is the house of the secrecy, of the limitation. So do exactly what the 12th house desires. A lot of spiritual work, a lot of meditations, studying secret sciences. This will help, and will, in this way, this placement of Saturn will not be hard for you. And then we're having Aquarius, and for Aquarius, Venus is excuse me, on the is on the 11th house, aspecting the ascendant, which is quite supportive in terms of finances, in terms of supporting your emotions, in terms of uh, benefit for your earnings, for the way you make your money, in terms of just any kind of support. And in this time also Jupiter is aspecting the ascendant, so it's quite fine, quite good blessing, both from Jupiter in Scorpio and from Venus on your 11th house. Could be that you have interest in new friendships and gains, of course. And then we have Pisces. With Pisces, this is Saturn is squaring your ascendant, but with Venus this will be quite supporting, and Jupiter is trining the ascendant, so this is softening the energies of Saturn, and now Venus is joining to soften them even more. So this is very good. The ascendant ruler trining your ascendant Jupiter, this is very supportive for Pisces ascendant. Can be again leading to desire for new knowledge, new studies, not only spiritual, of any kind, could lead to travels. This is about the Jupiter. And then Venus can be good for your career. If you had hard time during Saturn period, which is on your 10th house, Venus will be there now to help you solve some issues. So you may benefit from this period, but once again, don't forget that the heliacal phase of Saturn on the 13th of February will be valid for approximately 7 days. So this can create events in your career, but again, how they will develop depends only on your personal placement of Saturn in the chart. How well Saturn is placed, whether detriment, whether happy in the chart, this will make difference on how and what kind of events exactly every one of us will experience based on the heliacal rise, on the symbolic birth of Saturn. So with this I'm completing my 2-3 words about every sign, and please just let me repeat, this is not a reading. I cannot get in detail, of course, because every chart is unique with different stars and of course placements of the planets. So I'm sure that when Venus enters Sagittarius, this will soften very much the influences of Saturn and Pluto, both. Let's also not forget that Venus and Pluto together give depth in our emotions. So we may get very emotional, very temperamental, and this will be on a very deep level, especially if this is not only a transit for us, but also whether this could be primary direction, depends on each one's horoscope, and also progression with I don't know this, of course, it depends on the horoscope, but in general Venus will join Pluto also in Sagittarius, and this will give depth to all emotions that we will be going through until Venus will be in Sagittarius. So let's be happy to experience these good and blessing influences. And with this I'm completing. Thank you for your attention.